This is Lunar New Year Love Story by Jean Luen Yang and Luen Pham. This won 3 Eisners, Best Writer, Best New Graphic Novel, and Best Book for Teens in 2025. This was not on my radar at all. It's a young adult book. I have read young adult books that I think are very good. Tilly Walden comes to mind. Her books are excellent. So I figured since it won 3 Eisners, maybe the Eisners are wrong, or maybe they got it right, and let me find out. If I were going to describe this book is about a young girl. They start off in middle school, and she has this imaginary play date who's this Cupid. And then she gets to high school. It's supposed to be Saint Valentine. But one day, her grandmother comes and visits. It's just her and her dad. The mom is not in their life. She's dead. And so one day the grandmother takes her to church, and in church she sees a picture, a real statue of St. Vincent, who's an old man. So basically, this guy is telling her, oh, your family's cursed, they're unlucky in love, you should not pursue love. So it's just teen story about her liking some guy, and then you wonder if he's gonna like her or not. Then he has a cousin, actually, who is kind of moody, but you can kind of tell that she's gonna end up with him anyway. You find out that the mother isn't really dead, that she just walked out on the family, but the dad said she was dead, so that way she would be out of their lives. Later on, she starts getting into lion dancing, which is a very important tradition in the Vietnamese culture. And they decide to do this performance at this big wedding. And at the wedding, she finds out that the woman getting married is her mom. I mean, she knew who she was before, but it is her mom. If the Hallmark Channel made a movie where the protagonist was a female teen Vietnamese American, this would be it. Just a lot of tropes, very predictable, a lot of things that don't make sense, like when the mother says, tells her husband, who's this very rich, powerful dude who owns a lot of businesses, she tells him, do you remember what I told you about my past? And he's like, no, get out of here. You're not going to ruin our wedding. It's like, no guy who's rich and powerful is going to marry a woman who had a baby and then just dumped her family just to kind of move on. Just these tropes, and you can tell that who she's going to end up. I read 220 pages of this or so, maybe 230, and it has 330. After a while, at the end, I just skip forward and I realized, yeah, she did end up with the moody kind of cousin who has a backstory. Again, this reads a lot like, if you've ever read a superhero story where someone white middle-aged, like Mark Waid, writes a Archie story about young people. I know that Yang is Vietnamese, but he writes like a 51-year-old guy writing teens. I have 2 kids that are Gen Z. One's 23, one's 20. One graduated high school 2 years ago. I can tell you that teenagers don't talk like the way they talk. I mean, I know you can say maybe they're different because they're Vietnamese American, but they're Americans. They all talk the same. Teens are teens. A lot of this stuff just doesn't make sense. And of course, the guy who she first falls in love with is this rich, good-looking guy. Again, there's just so many tropes. Like I said, this is like a Hallmark movie. So it won an Eisner for Best Book for Teens. You can't argue. Maybe you can't argue with that. Best Writer, I didn't check to see who the other writers were, but then it also won Best New Graphic Novel. And I know 2024, when this book was published, was a lean year in graphic novels, but I can't believe that was the Best New Graphic Novel. This was off my radar, and at the end of the day, I'm glad it was. And this again proves a point that the Eisners really don't get it right. I mean, if they get it right, it's more, I think, out of luck than intent. It's not a bad book. I don't know how much teens will resonate with it. I think a lot of adults are gonna think this is resonating with them. This whole trope about Saint Valentine being like this, almost like this weird spirit, and that that's like telling her that she can't find true love and all this stuff. I mean, maybe that's part of the Vietnamese like traditional beliefs. I don't know, but they do refer to that, like saying, "Oh, you have a bad spirit." Just all this stuff just seems so hokey and made up, and just like a bunch of tropes, that it just doesn't seem believable to me. Having kids that are Gen Z. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Yeah, I just stick to my gut and not to what an award says.